Okay, so this is on Yoga Nidra. And some of the benefits. Let's talk about Yoga Nidra's benefits. It helps in releasing or relieving muscular, emotional, and mental tension. It's really good for those deeper psychological things. It's good for trauma. Yoga Nidra relaxes the mind by relieving stress and anxiety. It treats insomnia, psychological disorders, and psychosomatic diseases. It trains the mind and helps in enhancing memory and increasing learning capacity. Yoga Nidra is also known as yogic sleep because it takes you into deeper states of consciousness. It takes you into a deeper state of consciousness where you're not necessarily awake. It takes you out of that beta brainwave, but you're not asleep too. And a lot of times people will fall asleep in Yoga Nidra. You'll hear them snoring and stuff, But again, then that's what they needed, and that was probably a healing. But the goal, as the practitioner student, the goal is to try not to fall asleep. So the yogic sleep also results in increased energy levels. Now everyone's different. Sometimes you'll have people that say after a Yoga Nidra, they're ready to go home, go to bed. After Yoga Nidra, they had so much energy, they went home and cleaned their house. So everybody's kind of different on how, and I feel like it's going to give you whatever it is you need that day, but some people react differently. It either energizes you or it relaxes you. Now, either way, it's going to relax you in the moment, but the feeling afterward is going to vary depending on the person. It heals endocrinal imbalances and ensures optimal functioning of the endocrine system. Yoga Nidra not only detoxifies the body, but also clears up the subconscious mind. It improves creativity. It leads to improved senses and more cultivated body awareness. You become more aware of where you are in space. You become more aware of your body. You become more aware of how you sit and how you stand and how you walk. It increases that consciousness. And when we say it clears up the subconscious, you can actually rewire your neural networks or belief patterns, thought patterns. Yoga Nidra restores the mind and body and leads to restructuring of the whole personality from within. So this understanding its psychological benefits, your neuroendocrine system maintains homeostasis in your body. But then stress comes in and it creates an imbalance. Stress can be short-lived or chronic, and it can be created by your mind, your environment, or a life-threatening event. So Yoga Nidra equals conscious deep sleep state. It equals deep healing and relaxation. It gives your body a reset. Too much stress contributes to adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue, and Yoga Nidra lowers cholesterol, blood pressure, heart rate, and levels of adrenaline and cortisol, which is the stress hormone. 1 hour of Yoga Nidra is equivalent to the same benefits of receiving 4 hours of deep sleep. And that's what this handout says, but my yoga teacher even said 30 minutes. Even 30 minutes of Yoga Nidra is going to be equivalent to the benefits that you would receive of 4 hours of deep sleep. So again, we're restoring, our digestive systems, enhancing we're resetting the nervous system. Trying to think of, Okay, practice for your health. Yoga Nidra treats anxiety, stress, high blood pressure, insomnia, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, it helps people to create new neurological pathways and reduces polarity in perception of experiences. So because we live in a world of duality, it's like good and bad and dark and light and evil and, purity or, we have this constant polarities of extremes. And Yoga Nidra is also good for activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which we talked about in restorative yoga. It's great for recovery and healing. But its main focus is the work with the unconscious manifestations of the mind, so that we can clear some of the samskaras, which are kind of like, I like to say, they're scars on your karma. It's like the things that keep us repeating. So a lot of times something has happened, whether it was someone hurt our feelings, or we had a traumatic event happen or whatnot, and here again, that's where like our system got kind of stuck and it replays or re-loops. Or, you know, we have a certain belief system in the mind, and whatever we believe precipitates, everything precipitates from the mind. So because of what we believe, then that's how we start to perceive things. That's how we start to see the outer world. And because we believe things, that's how we tend to act, or see the world, you know, that kind of thing. So the belief system creates the thoughts even, you know, and the ways that we act and whatnot. So we want to take some of that unconscious material of the mind, and we want to clear it up and move forward in our life with peace. You know, we don't want to keep believing that we're not worthy, or that we're not good enough, or that, you know, we don't deserve, or, you know, anything that is hindering us from growing and living a life of peace. Unconscious material are messages that are held deep within the subconscious mind. The goal is to get the client to tap into material that may be present within them and influencing their day-to-day life that they're unaware of. Yoga Nidra is a form of pratyahara, so that withdrawing of the senses to go inward. It moves through the Panchamaya Kosha system to get into, so we talked about Panchamaya Kosha system. It's the, you know, you have the Anomaya Kosha, which is the body. And then you have the Pranamaya Kosha, which is the energy body. And then you have the Manomaya Kosha, which is like the mental emotions. And the goal of Yoga Nidra is to get into that Manomaya Kosha, the mind and emotions. And then the Vijnanamaya Kosha is the seat of discernment, the window to the causal plane and our connection to universal consciousness. So this is where we can access alpha brain waves. Alpha brain waves occur when we are in a concentrated meditative state. Typically, our brain is functioning in beta wave when we first, like, when we go to sleep at, oh yeah, it's like when we first wake up, beta wave is like the doing and the acting and the busy, you know. And then when we go to sleep at night, we move into theta and delta. Right before you go to sleep, and right as soon as we wake up, we're in that alpha state. And that's where Yoga Nidra takes us. It takes us into the alpha state. Like that point right before you fall asleep, and that point right before you kind of like wake up. This is the state we're looking to find with Yoga Nidra. But we move in between beta, theta, and alpha brain waves with the technique of Yoga Nidra. Alpha brain waves are very even and cause the person to be in an objective, neutral state that is not polarized and can be an observer in concentration with whatever is arising. Within the Manomaya, and the area between the Manomaya and Vijnanamaya, that seat of discernment, mental and emotional seat of discernment, is where we start to practice and train the brain to quiet the Chitta Vritti. Chitta Vritti means mind chatter. Then we begin to access clear communication through the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the seat of discernment. This is how we work to reprogram psychological samskaras that keep us in patterns and holds and stuckness, often associated with trauma, old belief systems, whatnot. Do you have any questions about that? Because that's a lot.
So the difference in this and restorative and yin is it's more of the mind and emotions and the quieting it down.
Yeah.
Or changing the brain waves.
Yeah, and you're not doing any poses. You're just lying in Shavasana for Yoga Nidra. And when you're lying there, you know, you might be bolster underneath the knees, blanket on top, you might have an eye pillow, you know, you're just lying there. And then the teacher is guiding you through, and it's kind of like a guided meditation. They're going to be talking, but there's certain stages and steps that we go through. You know, the first is setting a sankalpa. Well, first we get them relaxed. Then we set a sankalpa, you know, set the intention. And a lot of times it's like, you know, if we are, for me, I always use this example because it's a personal reference that worked for me, but, you know, I had a belief system of, I'm an idiot. And so, you know, I dropped something. I'm an idiot. Oh, I, you know, made a mistake. Oh, I'm an idiot. It was like everything, because I had this belief system, then I started to perceive things that way. So I would create or magnetize situations that would then confirm my belief that I'm an idiot, you know. So it was like a constant confirmation, you know. I perceive it, it would happen, and then I would almost instill the belief deeper, you know. So my Sankapa would be, I'm an intelligent woman. You know, that would be my intention going into this, you know, and then I would go into these deep states of consciousness. And then once we get them to, you know, set the Sankapa, then we move through body awareness. We start to, okay, right leg, right kneecap, left kneecap. You know, we move through the body it's called rotation of consciousness, you know. We're moving through the body. So we want to cover the whole body. And then once we get them there, then we return to the Sankalpa as if we're programming it in there, like in our hard drive. So now that we've got their brain in the state that we want it, then we return to that. We have them return to it so that we have them repeat it in their mind 3 times as if they're reprogramming that. Then we might move, you know, and there's different types of Yoga Nidra, you know. I'm going to share with you like the people that are known for Yoga Nidra. They even have different techniques, and we'll just go into that because that'll help describe. So one of them is Sri Swami Satchidananda. So yeah, and do you need spelling or anything?
Yeah, spelling.
So Sri is S-R-I, Swami S-W-A-M-I. Satchidananda, Satchidananda. His method uses the Panchamaya Kosha system, moving from the outside to in, and he's known for a technique called Pratipaksha Bhavana. Pratipaksha Bhavana is Pratipaksha, and then Bhavana, Bhavana. And this is a comparison of opposites. So he takes you through the polarity. You know, he might go, you know, imagine heaviness in your body. Now imagine the sensation of lightness. Imagine cold. You're in a blazing snowy storm. Okay, now imagine you're in the hot desert. You know, like he takes you through the polarity. And this is where you're asked to think of something pleasurable and then followed with something very negative. You know, you might go, think of joy, now think of sadness. Now think of joy, now think of grief. You know, you go back and forth, and this increases your ability to hold more and more, even disturbing psychological ideas, in the hopes that you will be able to reduce the polarity and become a neutral observer. This is also considered a tantric practice, and it's one of the key aspects of Tantra Yoga is to face the fear of death. And so Swami Satchidananda was known for having you visualize, sorry, I'm dry. I'm starting to talk too much. Have you visualize a casket, red roses. You know, he might have you visualize funerals and things like that, because he was trying to get people to face the fear of death so that they could be fearless, right? That's the end goal, is to face the fears. But Pratipaksha Bhavana can be something where you're taking them through, you know, both of these polarities, and what you're trying to do is find a neutral, so that this, you know, the grief doesn't affect you so bad, because now you've neurologically wired it with joy, and how you can hold both concepts. You can hold grief and you can hold joy. And be an observer, a neutral observer, to where grief doesn't knock you down anymore. You know, you can at least sit with it. You know, they say that the deeper you're carved, the more you can hold, you know, kind of thing. So that's Swami. Then we have Nishala Joy Devi, or Nishala Joy Devi. But it's Nischala, and then Joy, Joy, Devi, Devi. Her method uses uses the Panchamayakosha system in the exact same way as Swami, but she's more soft and reserved. She never wanted to take you to funerals and caskets and tombstones, you know. There is not as much visualization, but she does work a lot with progressive muscle relaxation. So she might have you tighten the right thigh and then relax the right thigh. Tighten the left thigh and relax the left
That's
thigh.
how I was taught how to do Shavasana.
Okay.
I always clench like my toes.
Yeah.
And then release, and I'll go up every
Yeah.
whole body and do it.
Yeah.
That's originally how I was taught, but
Yeah. That's a good one.
now I can just kind of.
Now you can get there. But yeah, sometimes you gotta have those little things to start to train your muscles or teach your muscles the muscle memory of what it does really feel like to be relaxed, right? Because sometimes some people are just so like wound tight, you know? So how can we show them, how can we start to teach them what it's supposed to feel like? Nishala Joy Devi was a student of Swami's. She was a physical assistant and worked with Dr. Dean Ornish. Dr. Dean Ornish is the doctor who has proven that yoga can reverse heart disease. He talks about how between yoga and diet, meditation, and support, having a support system, a community to belong to, with those things is what he proved that we can reverse heart disease. So sometimes people think they get heart disease and it's all over with from there. We're always going to have heart disease. It's not, you know, but he has proven that you can reverse it, that you can cure it, you know. But her protocol, Nishala Joy Devi, her protocol is non-activating and does not use that Pranipakshapatana. You know, it's more just like let's move inward from the out to the in, you know, using that Panchamayakosha system. It's not necessarily working with polarities. She's a lot softer in her approach, and they both have books, so you can always find books on, you know, Yoga Nidra books. All three of these people have written books. And then the third one is Richard Miller. His method has been copyrighted and is called iRest. It's just I-R-E-S-T, iRest. His method, iRest, Yoga Nidra, takes 10 steps to move people through the program. These steps can be done independently from one another, or they can be done in one practice. He is a clinical psychologist, and his program is designed for the person to rediscover the wholeness of their experience as a felt sensation in the body. He has worked exclusively with PTSD and trauma and has spent a lot of time working with the US military to create protocols to help soldiers heal from PTSD. He does get more into like what I would call the Vedanta style, you know, where, you know, he gets you into that deep state of consciousness, and then he starts to ask you, like, who are you? Are you this body? How does that make you feel? You know, so it's a more contemplative, you know, you get them deep, and then you know, use those Vedanta contemplative practices. When using Yoga Nidra with your students, remember it can be activating and stir up unconscious and unresolved material. It is always very helpful to let the client know that Yoga Nidra can induce a past traumatic event. This will help them prepare if that happens. And a lot of times with people with post-traumatic stress disorder, it's always really good to let them know what you're going to do beforehand. So this is information that you would want to disclose before you go into the practice. You would say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to lie on our backs. I'm going to take you through setting an intention, and we're going to work through the awareness of all the body parts and things like that. Now, some things may come up, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, just kind of like letting them know, always letting them know what you're going to do before you do it helps people with trauma feel safe, and it allows them to relax. It also helps to have a lot of confidence. Be very confident and sure of yourself, because if you feel timid or unsure, then they will be able to feel that through their vagal tone, their vagus nerve, you know, and they will not be able to relax if they don't feel like they're being held in a safe container, a safe space with a safe person, right? So, okay, unresolved material. It's also very helpful to let the client know, yeah, we already did that. Encourage them to drink water afterward to help them to ground back into their body. So anytime that you take someone on a guided meditation, a yoga nidra, a shamanic journey, somewhere spiritual, more in the etheric realms, you always want to have them drink water afterwards because that helps to ground back into the body. And I also did give you the script to a yoga nidra. So this is like a script that you can start practicing with your friends and family if you want to. You might even record it on your phone and then lie back and take your own yoga nidra, you know, and just play with it. Maybe even tweak it and make it your own. But this is kind of a nice little script to have so that you can start practicing with people. And then, yeah, you can always find those books by those different people. Do you have any questions on yoga nidra?
What's 61 points? Is that just your 61 points next to the 61 points exercise?
I believe that is all the Marma points. And you know, it might be kind of helpful just to say, yeah. So in Ayurvedic medicine, we have something called the Marma points. Marma points are anatomical locations in your body where a concentration of life energy exists. Marma points are said to contain the doshas, air and space, earth and water, fire and water. These doshas are believed to be linked to your physical and emotional well-being. Like traditional Chinese acupuncture, Ayurvedic medicine believes that stimulation of the Marma points can improve your physical and mental health. It is also believed that injury to the Marma points can result in negative health effects in the body and in some cases further injury and even death. So, wow, you have a lot more Marma points than 61, so maybe that's just like the main ones. There's 11 Marma points in your limbs, 26 Marma points in your trunk, 37 Marma points in your head and neck region, and 33 Marma points located elsewhere in your body. But I'm guessing, I'm just going to assume 61 is the main. You know how like we have more than 7 chakras, but the 7 are the main ones that we tend to focus and talk about a lot. That's what I would say, that would probably be like your main Marma points.
That's Marma, M-A-R-M-A.
M-A-R-M-A, yep. Feel pretty good?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the end of Yoga Nidra.